Good morning. Hi there. My name is Shalini Hunter, and I'm a civil rights consultant with the Department of Fair Employment and Housing. And I'm pleased to be here this morning with everyone, though I do wish we were in person. I'm going to share a little bit about our department. Most folks don't know what Department of Fair Employment and Housing is, so we're going to jump right into the mission, which it's really we are responsible for protecting the people of California from unlawful discrimination. And this covers employment, housing, public accommodations. It covers hate violence as well as human trafficking. Next slide. Next slide. We have a number of really significant responsibilities. We engage in public outreach and provide training, such as this morning's. We investigate discrimination complaints in cases of systemic discrimination. We facilitate mediation and resolution of disputes involving civil rights. And we also enforce the laws by prosecuting violations in civil court. So we really run the gamut from prevention to litigation and everything in between. Next slide. For the purposes of today's conversation, we are going to focus on employment. So how do we accomplish our responsibilities as an agency? We really rely on the law. So we are relying on things like the Fair Employment and Housing Act, the RALPH Act, which covers hate crimes. We rely on the UNRU Act, which covers businesses, the Disabled Persons Act, and we rely on human trafficking laws. So these laws protect individuals from discrimination that's based on protected classes. So that's the list you have in front of you right now. We all fit under at least one protected class, which is gender. Many of us will fit under two protected classes, which is hopefully we all get to the age 40 and over. And then many of us fall into more than one of these other categories: race, familial, sexual orientation, gender identity, marital status, and so on. Next slide. So who must comply with the laws? Public employers, private employers, labor organizations, and employment agencies, essentially everyone. So we're going to discuss a little bit about the employer requirements, a little bit about prevention, and then the complaint process should discrimination actually occur. So as an employer, there are certain required notices that must be shared with employees. These include information on employment discrimination, family leave, sexual harassment, transgender rights, and rights of pregnant employees. Next slide. So these two posters, the first is employment discrimination, and this reviews the protected classes and unlawful behavior. This is really critical for employees to know of their protections and who to contact if they feel that they have or are experiencing discrimination. The family leave poster reviews the employee's rights to family care or medical leave for the birth, adoption, foster care placement of a child, or for their own serious health condition or that of a child, parent, or spouse. California law also prohibits employers from denying or interfering with requests for pregnancy disability leave. Really critical information for both employers and employees to know. Next slide. The sexual harassment fact sheet defines sexual harassment, the different types and behaviors, and additionally, this past year, legislators have passed a new law requiring our department to make online training courses available on the prevention of sexual harassment as well as abusive conduct in the workplace. The employer version can be found on our website, and the supervisor version will be released shortly. All of the trainings are in multiple languages as well, so this is going to be really helpful for your organizations to check out. The transgender poster reviews the definition and the best practices for employers to utilize to make sure transgender employees' rights are secured. Dead naming or using the name used prior to transition, using the wrong pronoun intentionally, or demanding an employee use a particular bathroom that doesn't correspond to their gender identity is harassment and unlawful. Next slide. The final required poster provides information on employers' obligations to a pregnant employee. This, again, is really complicated stuff and critical for employees and employers to know what's available to them in terms of protected leave. DFEH is also working right now on a phone app that employees can use to tap into, employees or employers can tap into for the different protections related to becoming a parent. Next slide. Setting aside the requirements for a minute, I want to lift up diversity, inclusion, and equity. It goes a long way in preventing discrimination. So it's really helpful if employers generally, and in particular this industry, recognize systemic racism and the damaging and long-term impact that federal and state cannabis enforcement policies have had on Black and Brown communities. We all know a little bit about the war on drugs. Recognizing this systemic racism will allow for employers to take a holistic approach to reverse racism's historic and damaging effects. So these are things like, any substantive lasting change must be institutionalized and embedded within your business plan. Things like diversity, equity, and inclusion can be achieved through primary focus informing personnel requirement protocols in job postings, outreach plans for employment and apprenticeship programs, anti-racism training for vendors and employees, in addition to having specialized trainings for employees responsible for the hiring, screening, interview panels, and supervision. Really demonstrating leadership in this endeavor can also be incentivized by commensurate salary and promotional opportunities. And such efforts will provide immediate, measurable steps needed to reduce discrimination for, excuse me, historically racialized populations within this business. And really beyond the heightened moment of today's pandemic and protests, we've got a lot going on, and this really will go a long way towards keeping businesses out of litigation and really focusing on that equity piece. Next slide. So hopefully the laws are followed, but lots of times discrimination does occur, and we have a process for that. We do have this complaint process with DFEH. It is described more fully on our website, but essentially it's made up of 7 different elements, starting with intake and running through civil litigation. Next slide. Generally, when somebody files a discrimination complaint, what DFEH will evaluate the facts and will decide whether to accept the case for investigation. If it is accepted, if it is accepted, we independently investigate the facts and the legal issues. This will involve reviewing respondents' responses to complaints and other information and evidence that the complainant and the respondent submit. Among other things, DFEH will attempt to resolve the dispute in appropriate cases. So hopefully we can get through mediation before it actually goes to litigation. But there's always that ability to take that final legal action if need be. Next slide. So remedies for unlawful discrimination cover a number of different things. Reimbursement for actual losses and compensation for emotional distress. Hiring and reinstatement is probably the most common for employment discrimination. Back pay or promotions. Training and policy changes is the other probably most common remedy. So employers are required to take training and make some policy changes to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Usually that's tied to also monitoring by DFEH and ongoing reporting. There's also civil penalties, punitive damages, and attorney's fees and costs to the department if it prevails. Next slide. This is our contact information. We have not only can answer questions around the complaint process, but we also have an outreach team. So if you would like us to provide specific training on any of our employment discrimination or any other subject that you might have an interest in, please feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to do that. Again, we are the civil rights organization for the state of California. We provide these required posters for folks to have and share with their employees, really as a preventative measure so that you can avoid the litigation process. That is all for me. Thank you.